Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Clown in a Cornfield. It's a pretty on-the-nose title, and I loved it. After the death of her mother, Quinn relocates to the rural town of Kettle Springs with her father, Dr. Maybrook. The town is known for Bay Pen corn syrup and their company's mascot, Frendo the Clown. Quick heads up, this review may contain the occasional minor spoiler, but I'll do my very best to avoid them because I like this movie and I want you to see it. Quinn is a bit of a standoffish loner, but she quickly befriends the local teens. They love dressing up as Frendo and making horror videos for YouTube, which the townsfolk hate. They think the kids on their phones and social media and tiki-talkies are responsible for burning down the local factory. Some folks are unfortunately out of jobs. Even more unfortunately, Kettle Springs is a small town with a lot of pride in their heritage. Losing the factory is like a slap to the face. Speaking of heritage, every year the town celebrates Founders Day with a festival. Every year on the night of the festival, teens around the town sneak out for a rager in a barn. Unfortunately, this year, the partying teens get massacred by Frendos. For starters, I had a lot of fun with this cast. I thought katiedouglas was perfect. She embodied her angsty teen role so well. I was impressed with her acting, and I would 110% watch her again in another horror movie, given that she plays a similar character. She's not the nicest person ever, but she's also not overtly rude. She's guarded and reserved, but she also had good chemistry with the rest of the cast. I love the father and daughter dynamic with Aaron Abrams. Abrams plays a shy, charming, nerdy dad. He clearly loves his daughter and does what he can to show her he cares about her, and I like that about him. In return, his daughter cares for him too, while still maintaining her rebellious edge. It leads to some lighthearted comedy, and when push came to shove, her father wasn't afraid to endanger himself for her. He's a good dad. I also really like the casting for the teens. They don't quite look like teens, but they were all at least college age, and I really appreciate that. 2 summers ago, I worked on a short film with a small group of friends, and that small friend group vibe is what this movie reminded me of. I loved Carson McCormack as Cole Hill, Ao Solanke as Tucker Lee, Alexander Martin Deacon as Matt, Cassandra Potenza as Janet Murray, and Verity Marks as Ronnie Queen. Some of them had some cheesy lines and deliveries for this movie, but I love that. With such a direct title and a silly premise, I was expecting some campiness, and I'm happy that I got it. Other supporting cast members like Vincent Moeller, Kevin Durand, and Will Sasso are also great. Nobody delivers an Oscar-worthy performance, but for what I was expecting, I loved it all. Since Frendo is the villain of the movie, it's only fair that we talk about him. I don't find clowns to be very scary. There certainly was a point in time where I found them scary, but not so much anymore. However, they still look incredibly cool, and I love seeing them as villains. Whether it's Pennywise, Art the Clown, or even the Joker, clowns are iconic. I don't know if Frendo will ever be that level of iconic, but I still liked his design, and I'm hoping there's a sequel to this movie that can help cement his image. Quick fun fact, this movie is based on a book series of the same name published by Adam Cesare. There are currently 3 books: Clown in a Cornfield, Frendo Lives, The Church of Frendo, and there will be a 4th book, Lights, Camera, Frendo. This really excites me because that means there is a lot of material to film sequels and establish a franchise like Terrifier. Before I move on to other topics, it's worth mentioning that yes, this is a horror movie, but it's not overtly scary. You're not going to be terrified watching this. This movie is a blend of coming of age, mystery, horror, and comedy. It reminds me a lot of this year's Hell of a Summer. If you're looking for a horror movie, this probably isn't the movie for you. This is a much more campy, and I would dare even say nostalgic kind of movie. It scratched the right itch in my brain. It had retro slasher vibes, but it still felt fresh to me. Another thing that I loved about this movie is the rural small town setting. My girlfriend went to high school in Idaho and still has some family that lives there. Last year I went to her small town where they do an annual celebration of a parade, carnival, fireworks, and much more. This movie perfectly captured that small town vibe. Whether it's the main street or the cornfields or even the isolated homes, I thought this movie looked and felt like the small town I experienced. So much so that I genuinely got it in my head that this movie took place in Idaho, so I forced my girlfriend to watch it with me a second time.
He did. And I liked it.
Well, after looking it up, this movie actually takes place in Missouri. I've never been there, so if someone from Missouri sees this review, please let me know if your small rural towns look like Kettle Springs. One other fun fact that made me love this movie even more is that the budget was only $1 million. I think this film is an impressive use of that budget. The production, cinematography, gore, and tone are great. Sure, there are some moments where the narrative is predictable and the dialogue is cheesy, but I don't think that takes away from the charm of this movie. This movie knew exactly exactly what it wanted to be, and it played to that strength for a sweet hour and 36-minute runtime. I mentioned gore, so I also want to quickly say that it's not overdone. This isn't Saw or Terrifier. The gore makes sense for each kill, and it doesn't linger or become grotesque. The final thing I want to mention is the soundtrack and sound design. I like the music in this movie. Whether it's 80s hip-hop to modern electronica, I think each track was used well to help the tone and build that nostalgic vibe I mentioned earlier. I think the sound design is also great. I love the revving of chainsaws, shotgun blasts, clown shoe squeaks, and much more. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a cornfield not far from where I grew up called Black Island Farms. Every fall around Halloween, you could walk through the cornfield and there would be a small section where there was a clown chasing you with a chainsaw. That memory and nostalgia are what this movie captured for me. I think director Eli Craig did a wonderful job, and I would gladly watch this film a third time with my girlfriend. Clown in a Cornfield was a total blast. It's not trying to reinvent horror. It knows exactly what it wants to be and leans all the way into it, and I love that. The small town setting felt real, the characters were likable and charming, and the kills were fun without being overwhelming. Katiedouglas and Aaron Abrams gave the movie heart, the supporting cast brought a sense of friendship and chaos, and Frendo the Clown, he might not haunt my dreams, but I certainly hope he becomes a slasher icon. This movie is for anyone who loves a little blood with their nostalgia and a little camp with their dialogue. The film doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's exactly why it works. With a tight runtime, killer mascot, and just enough emotional depth to keep things grounded, this movie hits the sweet spot. I genuinely hope we get more from this world because I will be the first in line when Frendo returns. Thank you for listening to my review of Clown in a Cornfield. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast Goodfriends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.